I'm so excited about product and empowerment as our focus for this year. And we've heard so much about it. And just before I get into the last little bit, you've heard a lot. Just shake a little bit. You can shake those ideas into your head and then just move around a little bit because it's a lot of sitting. Okay, those ideas are in my head now. Okay. Whew. So, one of the things that's inspiring, especially about this new task that Lee's just put before us of a real user-centered Firefox OS, is that people really deserve, I think we all believe, but I know I believe, people really deserve to have the full power of the web in their hands, in their pockets. That's what we want to build. But people also deserve to have the full power of the web in their heads. They really deserve to have the full power of the web as something they know how to wield and do, and that's about knowledge. If we want to empower people, it's not just about having the right technology. It's everyone knowing what they can do with it. And so that's why we've put WebMaker and Mozilla's Learning products up there as a product line, is Mozilla has a role to play not only in arming people with the technology that can unlock the full power of the web, but also helping them know what to do with it. So that's what I want to talk about today, just briefly. And I want to start with a story about why I think that's important. That really struck me when I heard it a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago. This is some user research we're doing in Kenya around a WebMaker app that we're building. And one of the things we do in the user research script, most of these people have already got, or many of these people have already got a smartphone. They've recently acquired it. And we say, do you use the internet on that phone? And quite often, probably more than half, people say, what's the internet? And we say, well, what do you use the phone for? Why'd you buy the phone? Well, I use Facebook. I use WhatsApp. And we then say, well, do you use the internet? Do you use the web? What's the internet? I don't want to live in a world, and I do not think we can succeed with our mission, if 3 billion more people come onto the internet saying, what's the internet? Or never even ask that question. I want to live in a world where people see what the internet can do for them and believe that we can actually help people learn that and tap into it. So that's what I think the mission is that we have in addition to building products that unlock the web for people. This is a picture of a bunch of Mozillians, many of them here today in Barcelona at the first Mozilla Festival. And that's when we first started to grapple with this question. How do we teach the web at a massive scale? And how do we build the leaders of the web who are going to shape that future? The name of that event, as you see in the T-shirt, was Learning Freedom of the Web. And we dug into those questions there. And we started a lot of things that we're still doing today. WebMaker really came from there. Our maker parties, our hives, in many ways our fellows programs. And all of those things had one thing in common, which is that if we're going to take on this task of empowering people to learn what they can do with the web, to be leaders who shape the future, we have to actually do it in a different way. This is not about going into schools and teaching code on a chalkboard. What it is about getting people to build, doing teaching through sharing what we know, empowering people. Those words that we used at the summit last year, build, teach, empower. That's what all of those programs have in mind, or the approach they use. And we've done a lot, and we've achieved a lot with them and learned a lot since then. So what I want to do just very briefly is say where we're at with some of that work, some of what we're going to do next, and how hopefully some of you can get involved in helping us. So the first and biggest thing that we've done is really build on-the-ground mentor networks, people who want to teach the web with Mozilla. And the thing that you probably know of most, although there are other things like Hive and other things under the WebMaker banner, but the thing you probably know about most is Maker Party. And 3 years ago, we started this Maker Party idea as a way to just people getting together, Mozilla volunteers, librarians, teachers, and sharing what they know about the web. And we started really from nothing. And over the course of 3 years, what we learned is how to do that over and over again, how to relate to people who wanted to come and do it with us, arm them, and get them to do this well. And so this year, it's just 2 months, Maker Party. This year, we had 5,000 volunteers, 2,500 events, and really impressive to me is 450 cities. I'm very proud of that. That is us doing participation on the ground in a way that really inspires me and sets up some of what we can do next. And I'm very grateful and say thank you to all of you who made that happen. So what are we going to do with that next year? That, I think, is our biggest asset. What we do next year is make that strong. Move from a 2-month campaign to all year round, let's call them webmaker clubs, but really all year round being teaching the web. So strengthening that asset, working with those 5,000 people, not just growing them, but getting them to do stuff with us all year round systematically, and growing our Hive networks, which are very powerful networks of teachers, libraries, schools, museums in more cities. So what we're doing next year is really building out that asset that we've begun with Maker Party and our mentor networks. The second thing we've been doing, really starting again in Barcelona, and that we've learned a ton, is learning products that teach you how to make the web. It really comes from this philosophy that making is the best way to learn the web. Get your hands dirty. And a lot of what we did was build things like Thimble, which you may have seen, that are great for those maker parties. They're great for face-to-face teaching. They're very simple. But we've also learned people want more from us. People want to come and learn the web with Mozilla, even if they can't make it to a maker party, or in their bedroom on Wednesday night, or so on. And so we hired Andrew Zielinski from DIY.org, which some of you may know. It was one of the co-founders there, to help us think about how would we actually build making and learning tools that people want to use all the time, that are fun, that are simple, where there's an easier on-ramp, that work on mobile. So we've spent about 3 or 4 months thinking about that. You can see some of the mock-ups here, and you can talk to Andrew. And we also know that the stuff we built so far doesn't work on mobile yet. But there are lots of people who that's the only way they're ever going to create an app or ever create a web page. So we worked with Rick Fant's team, also with Andrew and a number of others, to say, let's build a making and learning product that works on mobile. In fact, it'll be, when it comes out, the same as the one on desktop. Crazy. And so for 2015, the plan is to really add into the boots on the ground piece, also serving a mass market of learners who want to come to us, make things with us, learn with us. So in January, we'll be launching a whole new webmaker product. It will include much of what I talked about that Andrew has been working on over the course of the year. It'll include social, being able to learn and mentor online. And from the get-go, it will include being able to teach and learn on mobile. And come and see it, because like we're a long way. We've been working on this for 4 or 5, 6 months. Like, it's exciting where it's going. So last piece I just want to talk about that we've been doing is building leaders. You know, it's not just, in fact, I was going to say, it's not just that we want everyone to understand the web. We do. We cannot get there ourselves just with the people in the room. Our volunteers, like these Kenyan volunteers who helped us do those focus groups, other 10,000 webmaker volunteers around the world, are absolutely central to doing what we're trying to do. And the thing is, we need their help, but they actually also want help from us. And that is a virtuous circle, like most of what Mozilla needs to do with its community. And so, you know, the things they're looking for from us are, how do I become better? How does this unlock a job opportunity for me? How do I become a leader? How do I take these ideas forward? And so, informally, we really do help them with that. We have things called super mentors. We have different fellowship programs. What we want to do in 2015, what we will do in 2015, is find ways to invest systematically in these people. Invest systematically in more leaders who will become the leaders of what we're doing in learning with WebMaker, but for all of Mozilla and for all of what we're trying to do. And so that'll start with really trying to harmonize our fellows programs, which range in everything from news to things that the Office of the CTO is doing, building up mentorship programs for leaders. I think we can be even more ambitious there, and we'll do that in 2015. So just to close, I want to leave us with a question. It's a serious question. I'm proud of this stuff. I'm proud of what we've learned since we started this journey on learning in Barcelona. I'm optimistic about what we're doing with the mentor networks, what we can do in a mass market making and learning product, especially on mobile, especially if we can make Firefox OS like that and bundle them together. I'm optimistic about our ability to build leaders, but do we need to do something bigger? And I think if we talk about billions of people coming online not knowing what the internet is, we talk about a generation whose only idea of what the internet can do is what's happened to Facebook, and those people will be the leaders of the future, we do need to do something bigger. And the thing is, we already do a lot more than what I just talked about. You know, things like MDN, there's user education in Firefox. The REMO program has leadership development. Things like this Open News Hackfest and the Open News Fellows program are learning programs in their own right. We do a lot. So is it that we need to do more? Maybe, and I think we do need to do a bunch of things smarter. But really what I think we need to do is say, building the leaders of the future of the web, building people's understanding of the web is something that is a part of our mission that we stand for. We put a stake in the ground as being the best in the world in that, and using learning to move our mission forward and have the future of the web be open and free. And that really is just about calling it out, I think. And one example I just want to close with is an organization who has done a similar thing, much more modestly than us, but really is a beacon, at least for me and many others, just because of how they've called out their mission. And this is the Earth University in Costa Rica. And what they try to do is train the next generation of leaders in sustainable agriculture. Very similar to us in their methods. A bunch of people get together, get their hands dirty, and learn how to do sustainable farming. What's different about them is they have called out their ambition to change the world of agriculture, to save the environment, by building the leaders who will do it, by building the leaders who will go back and train farmers in their own countries to do it, and saying, that is what we are going to do. We're going to shift the whole terrain. And then they put up a nice sign. And I think that's actually what we need to do. We need to put a stake in the ground and say, Mozilla is about teaching the next generation and generations for many to come what the web can be, and putting a stake in the ground. So this year, I'm going to lead a process to do a Mozilla Learning strategy that tries to put our arms around all we're doing and say, we can make Mozilla the place people come when they want to understand what the web can do. We can be the place that if you want to be a leader in the digital future, that you can come. We can be the place where if you want to shape where the web is going, this is the place to come and do it. Mozilla is the place to come and do it. I want to do that this year, and I want your help.